and he talked about it. He said, I don't want to do an exhibition against Floyd Mayweather. He said, I'm only doing real fights. Now, of course, I can't get up high in weight, but I'll fight him in a real fight at the weight that I'm at.
Floyd Mayweather has dropped another bombshell after calling out Terence Crawford to abandon his fight with Canelo Alvarez and fight him instead. That will be nothing more than an exhibition fight. But I doubt if Floyd Mayweather is aware of that. The fight gives Terence Crawford and adds no prestige to his impressive boxing record. It does nothing to his journey to the International Boxing Hall of Fame glory.
Well, one thing I like about him, one thing I do like about him, he's selling it. He's selling it, and he's making good money, and he's entertaining. I like it.
Is he, and Floyd,
is up, bro. Keep it a stack. Did you in your head size up Floyd? Like, you know what I'm saying? If we was ever, keep it real, boss. Keep it real.
I'm never that.
At best, it's a quick and easy platform to make money for the former undisputed world welterweight champion. For some reason, the boxing icon feels he and Crawford will make more money than Canelo and Crawford. The essence of this for Floyd was to finally put an end to the debate of who's the better boxer between him and Terence Crawford, seeing Terence Crawford is the only boxer that has the closest boxing record to Floyd Mayweather, which has sparked several debates in the past regarding who's the greatest boxer of all time. Well, maybe the fight will eventually happen, but it may be too soon.
Shit, always been happy for him, been a fan of his, and I never imagined us fighting. I never looked at him.
Seeing Crawford is still active and chasing greatness. The super middleweight champion did so much to land this fight against Canelo, and it's unlikely he'll be willing to let it go. Severally, boxing fans have made comparisons between Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Terence Crawford. Bud refused to deprive the 50-0 boxing champion of his rightful honors. Terence Crawford appreciates Floyd Mayweather, and when he was asked about their similarities, he had a few more things to say as well. Crawford praised and acknowledged Floyd's greatness and called him the king.
Hit and not get hit, to make the adjustments that he's made to certain fighters. You know, he's
the pound for pound top fighter in boxing right now is Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford, I just truly believe he doesn't have to be under my company for me to give a guy props. I'm not like that. You know, if he's ever free.
He then continued highlighting that they have quite a lot in common in some aspects, but they're a little different because Crawford feels he takes more chances earlier in his career. He was taking a lot of chances in his career as well. He largely feels it depends on which Floyd Mayweather we're talking about. When one's talking about money, or you're talking about Pretty Boy, because Pretty Boy was the seeking destroyer. Then he started having hand injuries, so he couldn't really keep up with the same power.
Both boxers, I think, you know, I take more chances, you know, right now. But earlier in his career, he was taking a lot of chances as well. So, you know.
And he was moving up and fighting bigger, like Crawford said, they have quite a lot in common. However, boxing fans and supporters have compared both fighters to discover the better fighter, and when they did, a new source put Crawford as the likely winner of a fight between the two fighters. When it comes to pure boxing ability, you'd be hard-pressed to find another producer of more sweet science masterclasses than Floyd Mayweather Jr. The crisp jab, precision timing, and counter-punching ability all empowered Mayweather to pick his long list of opponents apart.
Depends on which Floyd Mayweather you talk about. Do you talk about money or do you talk about Pretty Boy? Because Pretty Boy was the seek and destroy fighter.
Free, and he want to go to any company. If he's a free agent, I would love to work with him if he's free. Because I know that what I can do to take him to that next level. Because with Jim Chin, raw talent, hell of a fighter. There's a lot of hell of a fighters out there.
And he did it over two versions of himself, just as Crawford said. Pretty Boy Floyd was the more aggressive boxer, bringing the fight to opponents, while Money Mayweather years later would compute and edge opponents out with brilliant boxing, whichever style you prefer. Both bodies of work made the legend. That is, Floyd Mayweather Jr., comparatively boxing fans, are still in awe of what Crawford did to Spence in his last fight. Whether it was a power jab that he repeatedly snapped through Spence's guard, punching in traffic, or the timing of his counter. Punch's Bud exhibited supreme boxing ability, and it wasn't the first time, but we've never seen it like that against a fighter of Spence's caliber.
Larry Holmes.
Defensive work.
Pernell Whitaker.
Chin.
When talking about pure boxing ability, arguably nobody should get a push over Mayweather but Crawford's. Style of boxing is different, yet effective, even explosive in his own right. So how would their boxing stack up if Crawford would fight Mayweather in his prime and use his lasering shots against Mayweather's discipline, sweet science? Who would assert? The jab first, who would be the more effective counterpuncher? There are so many ways to see this play out that it might be best to call this category a draw. How many times have we watched Mayweather lull and eventually lure his opponents to the middle of the ring, where he computed information, analyzed it, and uploaded a blueprint to pick his opponents apart? Mayweather took his ring IQ and mantra of hit and not get hit and essentially wrote it to the Hall of Fame as an undefeated 5-division world champion Crawford in being crowned.
Footwork.
Undisputed at junior welterweight, and now welterweight has shown a high ring IQ himself throughout his career. Mayweather demonstrated hand speed, especially on the counter-punching end, but Crawford's slashing angles and whip-lashing delivery has. Bud having the advantage in speed of Mayweather's 50 wins, 27 came by way of knockout. That's in comparison to Crawford's 40 wins, 31 of them coming via knockout, and he's still active now. Re-enter Crawford's wizardry over Spence, dropping him 3 times en route to a dominant 9th-round TKO, decimating a power-punching body-snatching fighter like Spence, who systematically broke down Kell Brook Shawn Porter and your Dennis Ugas to become the unified world welterweight champion, was anything but easy. Yet Crawford made it look easy, and his power was a big reason why Mayweather painted in the corner. Raising that shoulder into the Philly shell and absorbing shots with his arm while using his free hand to pick his punches was defensive. Boxing turned counterpunching at its very finest. Crawford has some slick defense to him as well, but Mayweather took defensive boxing skills to another level of damn near perfection, all dreamt up. How would Crawford against a prime Mayweather fight actually go? And who would win after a tense first round where each boxer is trying...
Legacy.
It's more than one.
to feel out the other. We see Crawford being the more active and busy fighter early on, launching and landing shots, even if many of them are absorbed by Mayweather's shoulder and elbow by the middle rounds. Mayweather's style would set in as he'd pepper Crawford with jabs, banking some rounds yet with a constant flow of pressure. Crawford's firepower could get to Mayweather even enough to hurt the legend at times, as close as we see this one being Crawford's fighting ability, and those whip-lashing punches might be. Just enough to have judges credit him on his pressure and volume en route to a points win over Mayweather's brand of boxing. Terence Crawford, a 4-division world champion, has expressed his interest in facing Canelo, the reigning super middleweight. King, however, the weight disparity between the two poses a significant challenge for the American fighter. Former heavyweight champion Ron Jr. shared his perspective on the clash between Crawford and Canelo Alvarez while praising Crawford's talent and skills. The legendary boxer leaned toward Canelo as the favorite. The former champion emphasized the importance of Canelo's punching power as a decisive factor in the fight.
Look at this, it's unbelievable. Young boxing fans that are watching Floyd Mayweather, you're seeing one of the greatest defensive fighter of all time. I mean, that's how strong. Everywhere, and then he's nowhere. You think you... And again, it's not just hand quick.
His analysis underscores Crawford's need to neutralize Canelo's renowned power. If Crawford can impose his technical boxing skills and avoid Canelo's devastating punches, he could stand a chance of pulling off a historic upset, while the potential fight between Canelo and Crawford remains a dream scenario for fans. Canelo Alvarez is currently focused on preparing for his next bout. International Boxing Federation interim champion William Skull has been mentioned as a possible opponent. This wasn't always the case for Roy Jones Jr., though the Hall of Fame fighter and current promoter, trainer, and respected analyst Roy Jones Jr. had earlier shared scenarios in which he sees both Terence Crawford and David Benavidez beating Alvarez before going against his former prediction a little, but like Eddie Hearn pointed out when they met earlier this year, Floyd Mayweather mainly resorts to exhibitions when he's broke and running out of cash, even when he denied it with Eddie Hearn.
Crawford cares about his life. And with that fight, what do that fight do for Canelo, fighting Crawford, and Crawford beats Canelo? What do that do for Canelo? I just think that there are so many other fights to make that's realistic and makes sense, and less life risking on top of the risk that we risk stepping in there with guys our weight.
His latest call out of Terence Crawford has raised several questions as to what exactly his real problem is. However, the world sits and waits for the reactions of Terence Crawford to all of these, and also waits for the fight that became a product of Crawford's pursuit of greatness, his fight against Canelo Alvarez, and that's all for now. For the very best updates on news times, news and updates in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications to get informed when we drop quality contents like this.